Radio. And just to let you know, we've kind of made things a little easier for everybody. It's just HNL3 right now.
Okay, cool. Real quick, let me give a couple of shout-outs in the chat room. It's always very interactive. We got Big L.
Of course.
Bears fan. Boo. We won't talk about them too much. We got Chief Rocker. We're going to be talking about the Giants in a couple of minutes, Chief. Then we got my man David Wilkes. He is a 49ers fan. And then we got, I think that was the
I feel sorry for him, but okay.
Appreciate everybody. All right, so what is your thoughts on this offseason? A lot of additions, made some pretty key draft picks. But what's your thoughts so far on what they did this offseason?
Listen, for once, I can honestly say my team has actually stepped up to the plate. They spent a little bit of money, and more importantly, they focused on the concerns that were necessary to make them successful. I mean, I'll take Alshon Jeffries for the fact that the man really hasn't played a full season. God knows, I don't know when the last time he did that. His production, though, when he's on the field is just good. And I'm so happy that we were able to secure Torrey Smith, out of San Francisco. I like that 1-2 punch. What that does is that puts Jordan Matthews and Nelson Aguilar right where they belong, both of them in the slot. Here's an interesting fact. If I asked you, Ben, who you thought the fastest wide receiver at camp was, what would your answer be?
That's a good one. I'd probably say Aguilar.
You're right, actually. 21.9 miles per hour.
Wow.
I was like, are you kidding me? This is a guy who barely he was non-existent last year on the field, but he's the fastest man in camp. I think this is a great combination. Second year Carson Wentz. Now, we all know about the sophomore slump. So that is that's my cause to pause and say, let's see what this kid can do. But we got LeGarrette Blount, Super Bowl champion LeGarrette Blount. Yeah, we got him on a 1-year deal, but he adds to that running back position that we so desperately needed. Now we've got him, Darren Sproles on his last year. Listen and remember the name Wendell Smallwood. I think we're going to like him in a few years. He's up and coming. I really like what he's able to do. So in my opinion, and I will be totally unbiased with you because this is your show. Now my show is totally different. But for the sake of today, I will say to you, we have a legitimate shot to get into the wild card position.
Okay. I mean, the NFC East, which I'm going to say this probably to the day I die because it's true, is always up for grabs. Every single team is reaching for that top spot, game in, game out. The majority of the time, what happens is somebody gets injured, so a team has a down year, i.e. the Giants, and one of these 4 teams is going to have a down year. Praying and hoping it's not my boys, but I don't know. But
I could honestly say to you, Ben, and again, I will admit this to you and only you, your team, the team that I don't even talk about, I don't even call them by their name. I say that other team down there in Texas that's not the Texans. What you were able to do from last year to this year is just keep that core nucleus together. I look forward to facing you guys twice a year. It's bittersweet when y'all kick our butt, but what I will say to you is what Dak Prescott and Carson Wentz were able to do last year, they have set the bar so high for the rivalry that exists between Philadelphia and your team. But what I will say to you in all honesty, as long as the pieces are there, I fully expect you to vie for the division title. I'm not saying you're going to win it, but you will be in contention based on what you were able to do.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And this is the BS3 Sports Show. We're talking to Eric Wilson of HNL3, and you can keep it real. You can keep it real on this show. We talking about Eagles right now, but a couple of guys that run at the running back position makes me excited and nervous. LeGarrette Blount, Donnell Pumphrey, who I believe broke the record, NCAA running back record, a rushing yards record. So what type of combination are we going to see at running back?
At the running back core, what you've got is you've got LeGarrette Blount. I mean, this guy's name does spark some sort of fear and animosity in defenses because of his size and because of his body of work, his production, what he's able to do. You have a very elusive Darren Sproles who, if you let this man get open, he will zig and zag his way through defenses. That's what he does. He's like a pinball. He just goes through ding, 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 and he's gone. Okay? Darnell Humphreys, what I want to see from him is I want to see if he can actually complement LeGarrette Blount and be that north-south runner. Because I know if he's able to break one open, oh yeah, he's going to the house. There's no question about it. But I still haven't seen it fully in him for me to be like, okay, this is our dude. Now, we got LeGarrette Blount, like I said, on a one-year deal. So Humphreys is definitely going to have to step up. But I truly feel like with all the weapons that Carson has, there is no excuse, none whatsoever, why our team does not vie for a division title. And we damn sure better make the postseason. If we don't, everything that we are building right now is just gonna be a failure. And I don't see that with my team. I'm actually enjoying the fact that the Redskins are dysfunctional as they are. And here's the thing about the Giants. On one side, you're going to have Odell Beckham Jr. On the other side, you're going to have Brandon Marshall with Sterling Shepard in the slot if he is healthy through this ACL sprain or tear or whatever it was. But what I'm saying to you is you have to be careful because who's Eli going to use as his main weapon? If he starts throwing to Brandon Marshall more than he does OBJ, you know the diva that is Odell Beckham Jr. is going to come out and he's going to make a scene because he wants his touches. But then you have the veteran Brandon Marshall. If OBJ can humble himself, which I know is probably not going to happen, but if he can do that, the Giants would be formidable. But here's the thing. They still don't have a solid running back. So you know what the game plan for these guys is going to be. They're going to air the ball out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be their focus. And I've got a guy named Taylor of Giants Blue Bud. He's going to be coming on in about 22 minutes. I'm going to talk to him about that running back situation. But that is something that you definitely got to think about. I want to give a quick shout out to Mocha Bella in the chat room. She is a Dolphins fan. I do apologize that I hope and pray y'all don't get Jay Cutler because you might as well throw that season in the toilet if that ends up happening. But anyway.
But here's your thing. Getting back to the Dolphins really quick. Who's your backup? You've got
Matt Moore.
Right, Matt Moore. You got Matt Moore. Jay Cutler's better than Matt Moore. He's not better than Ryan Tannehill, but he's definitely better than Matt Moore. So why would you not roll the dice with him?
Yeah, why don't you roll the dice with Kaepernick? I've been talking about this all show. I'm trying not to get into this with these Eagles, but why not bring him in? You know, Mocha, she's in MIA, and she was talking about the shirt that he wore. I believe he wore a Fidel Castro shirt. It's not. Yes. It's frowned upon. Adam Gase has a relationship with Cutler, which I get it. He had probably his best season with Adam Gase, so I get that. But to me, Cap is better than everybody on that Dolphins in that quarterback core with the Dolphins.
All right, listen, you'll get no argument from me on that one. I just feel there are a lot of owners who don't want that media attention. Listen, Malcolm Jenkins, my guy, Malcolm Jenkins, called all NFL owners cowards for not signing him. And this is a discussion I'm sure that could go all day about this because you and I both know, and there are a lot of people who know, that he is better than a lot of quarterbacks who are currently playing in that position in the NFL. However, his off-the-field antics, his political statement, was the reason that ultimately is going to be his downfall, why he may not ever get a job in the NFL, no matter how good he is. So, you know, everybody's like, they took a chance on Michael Vick. Well, I'll tell you right now, as an Eagles fan, I didn't want Michael Vick when I found out that we got him. But then I had to I had to take myself back and be like, clearly the organization knew what they were doing, and they were prepared to deal with the backlash of him being on the squad. So, you know, he handled his business. He manned up. I think eventually we may see him, Colin Kaepernick, in a uniform. I don't see it this season, though.
Okay. And my stance pretty much the whole year has been he will get signed. It's just a matter of time. Quarterbacks get injured and maybe into the season. Who knows when it's going to be? But Cap,
right,
he'll be on a team. It's just a matter of what capacity, as a backup, as a last minute emergency when you're in the season. So we'll definitely see. But let's get back into these Eagles with Carson Wentz.
Okay.
Carson Wentz. Let's put Carson Wentz. Let's put Dak. Let's put them next to each other. They're both going to be in their sophomore season. Do you see a sophomore slump for Carson Wentz?
No. And I tell you this because he's made the necessary mental mistakes from his rookie season. He's looked over them. So what did he do? He invited his wide receivers out to North Dakota so they could develop a rhythm early. I like the production that they're doing in training camp. I like what I'm seeing from this kid. And I'll even go so far as to say I don't see a sophomore slump in either one of these guys. I don't see it in Carson. I don't see it in Dak. We didn't see it in Mariota. We didn't see it in Jameis Winston. Now, Mariota got injured, but the team was still progressing, not regressing. I see the same thing happening with both Dak and with Carson.
Okay. And for me, I think both of them are going to have a slight slump. Now, when I say a slump, not a horrible season, not completely downhill, but I see a little bit slight of one because this is the NFL, and watching tape, which you hear every single coach, most of the players say they're going to be watching a lot of tape on these guys. So I think that is something that is going to be interesting to see how defenses match up against these guys. But like I said, I don't think it's going to be a major slump, but I do see a light one. But I see these two teams being very, very in the running for winning this division.
So it's going to come down to the last game. You can bet money on that one. It's going to come down to the last game, Week 17, Philly against Dallas. In my opinion, one team's going to the playoffs as a division winner, and the other team's going to the playoffs as the wild card.
All right, so we got the resident New Yorker in the chat room, Chief Rocker. And he says he's just coming back in the chat room, and he said, "Who the F is this clown that is on?" And then he said, "Philly ain't gonna be won't be is this year." And here's the thing with Chief, he is a Giants fan, and he will point out and trash any team that's not the Giants. So, response,
of course. All I'm going to say to your friend Chief Rocka in the chat is wait till December 18th. That's the Monday after Philly has played Dallas both times. When we have beaten Dallas both times and they have 2 losses in the division at the hands of Philadelphia, you let Chief know that for all the money he spent on that defense, it ain't going to fly. And that's number one. And number 2, and more importantly, you better hope that OBJ can stay focused. Because like I said earlier, Brandon Marshall knows how to go up and get the ball. Brandon Marshall is a dude who's been in the league for several years. He knows and understands what's at stake here. You put OBJ in that position, he's not mature enough to handle it. Let him go hang on a boat down in the 305 and try and make a name for himself that way. But here's the one thing he needs to remember. When it comes to Philly, oh, bro, you got to come to the link because we've already proven that with no time left on the clock, we can beat the Giants. We can beat the Giants when your coach tells you don't kick to Deshaun Jackson, and then your kicker goes and does that. We can beat them. I'm not worried about the Giants. The Giants don't scare me. There's only one team in that division that scares me this year, and normally it's not even your team, Ben. But since he wants to talk about the Giants, you tell him to come find me December 18th. I'm not a hard man to find. When he's lost 2 and his team is trying, scraping, crawling, scratching, doing whatever they can to try and get into the wild card spot. Because by that point, it'll be sewn up by you and by me.
All right, there we go. All right, so Mocha says, hey, what did he say about the 305? Calm down, Mocha. It's okay. All he said was OBJ was down there chilling in the 305. Chief says, put me on. Well, Chief, I don't know if I can do a 3-way with Google Voice. If you know how to do that, let me know, and we'll get the 3-way.
Actually, you know what? Get Chief's number, I'll conference him in. Get Chief's number.
Okay. Here, real quick. Let me see.